Welcome to Center Hice Productions. It is September 12th, 2023. Please, in your bottom right-hand corner, hit the likes and subscribes. We'd muchly appreciate it. Let's get 150 likes and let's get some subscribe. We would appreciate it. Let's grow this community. Use your mouth to pass the word around. We have our co-host Bob Gainey in with us. Again, as usual, he's always aiding the Montreal Canadiens. Okay, as our topic says, a lot of revelations came out of the golf tournament with question and answer periods for a whole lot. We'll start with Gordon. Gordon was at the mic and was questioned, as we all know, and it's been reported, and we got to see his. He gave a lot of us Habs fans hopes that the Logan Mailloux case was a formality. However, media and everybody who wants to jump on the bandwagon, he made it very clear Logan Mailloux is not all cleared by Gary Bettman. Yes, there was a meeting, but he believes it's just a formality. Let's hope. I can't even jump onto that bandwagon because from what the years I've been around watching hockey, Gary Bettman is nobody you can count on. You can count on him to be difficult. So I would say instead of us as small podcasts going, oh, well, Mailloux will be, calm the horses back, because realize we've had, like I say, Rene Lavoie was the one who started that bandwagon, let the cat out of the bag saying, oh, he was all approved. We've seen where Rene Lavoie got on that one, and we all bit under him because we had like places like Fanatics and all that reporting from off of that one spin from Lavoie. All those other bigger reporter outlets were doing that, and then we as small podcasts did it. However, some of us, like myself, said it's being reported. I did not know if it was actual factual. I was concerned about that because I didn't hear it come from Kent Hughes' mouth, and I didn't hear it coming from Jeff Gordon's mouth or Molson's mouth. So that's what we got to realize. Stop pumping out garbage like there are a couple small ones that'll go even before that tried to go on that bandwagon even before Rene Lavoie. Yeah, they want to be gurus, but they know nothing when it comes to, they act like they have the inside track and they don't. No, it's clear. When the top wig, Gordon, makes it clear, it is not a go-ahead yet. Now, he's confident. Doesn't mean it's even him saying that. He's telling you Bettman has not given the all clear. So that topic over. Calm ourselves down as Habs fans. Let's not progress to just put out rumors and BS. Let's settle ourselves down and let's try to put out good information, good, healthy information on our organization. So that being said, we got the info. Great thing that they're shedding light on different things. Slavkovsky was also interviewed and came in saying he's lost like 20 some odd pounds. Quite a drastic difference, and he feels really good. And hopefully, all the work he's put in the summer makes a drastic difference. However, I got to wait and see for my opinion on that. I love Slavkovsky in his corner, and I do think he will be all right down the road once he develops. I'm just not going to say that. There's a couple things I just really think last year was wasted. It's good for him to be around Marty. I get that. However, I think they really hurt him with the amount of ice time he got even before his injury. So I think it would have served better purpose being him being in Laval. And let's see, let them put him on a 9-game trial run and see how he has adjusted, because he's got a lot of adjustments to make. And let's see how that goes. And if he's not adjusted, send him to Laval and let him play the whole year. There he gets first line minutes, and that's what he needs to adjust to the North American game. And for guys going on like this, is one big scientific breakthrough with the glasses and the breathing test. This technology has been in the NHL, if you do some homework on it, for some time now. And maybe none of us have heard of it, or even reporters, because they are reporters. They're not much better than you or I. Haven't heard of it, although there's a lot of people that have heard of it. So it's good to know that this has been going on. It's all a part of development to hit those target areas, and maybe Slav is someone that can work even more forward. Let's hope so, because it definitely I could see his lung capacity was an issue, and we all know with that heads up thing he just was horrible. So let's I'm in his corner. I do think Slav is not somebody to give up on. I think I'm in the bandwagon if he doesn't show any change. Send him a Laval, and we'll wait and see. Let's see what the first 9 games say. Let's go from there. That's really all you can say. So that's why I don't even have him in the Montreal Canadiens equation totally yet. So that being said, then we go off to where Mike Matheson was named the assistant captain, where that vacancy became available from Edmonton leaving, and so yeah, great choice. You knew it was going to probably be come down to being between him and Savard, being the two veterans back there, and where he's number one right now, hands down number one, your number one defenseman, and Goulie's right behind him. Goulet will be that future guy, but however, right now Matheson is, and you could see him being here you can at least see him being here for 2 or 3 more years minimum, in that range. So great choice for assistant captain. We knew Galley was already there, but in the future, I would say people pumping up Cole Caulfield as assistant captain. Come on, he's a goal scorer. He can be a leader. You can still be a goal scorer and a leader, but you don't get the leadership roles to the degree that the responsibility is that heavy. Let him just worry about scoring. It's the same thing in the days Montreal knew how to handle their superstars, their goal scorers, like Eagle Fleur. You didn't see him with a captain with the captaincy or alternative captain on his sweater because he wasn't of that. His job was to produce. Steve Shutt's job was to produce. Those guys knew that, and we got to get back into that mindset because there's this new wave of I don't totally comprehend where this is coming from, but you got to settle down and start letting the leaders be leaders. And Caden Gooley is your perfect. It's this next alternative captain once one of the youngsters comes. He's shown the poise. He's shown the maturity. He's shown he was my choice actually for captain. Unfortunately, he wasn't in the system long enough. Yes, Suzuki had a couple of years under his belt, and Suzuki's doing a good job. However, I think Caden's just got natural, instant, uh, great leadership qualities, and I think that should be our next choice down the road. But great choice, great that we have our leadership boys there. That's someone who can lead because David Savard's probably going to see his last season this year. Whether he gets to I think the trade deadline or the summer, he'll be gone because you got to make room for the up and coming. When Mayu is cleared and Reinbacher, they're going to take those roles on the right side, hands down, hands down. So you're going to have it's time. It's going to be time to unload Savard. All right, we go from there, and we go to the next one where oh man, you get again. I hear guys talking about this. Oh, it should be Jake Allen. Oh my word. Well, Jake Allen's contract's too big. Number one, they're not going to get him traded very easily, and he's a good leader. So there's no necessity. And I'm sorry to tell you, he's got a better pedigree behind him. He has won a Stanley Cup. Okay, you can't say that for Casey DeSmith. I think Casey's a good backup goaltender somewhere, and I think he'll do fine. And I think while we have him, let's utilize him because for Allen the big problem has been breakdown, playing too many games. So if this could be a solve, I don't mind seeing the 3 goaltender system. A lot of teams are doing it. Why not utilize them while you have them? Now that's what I'm trying to address. Kent Hughes in the last week or so has made it very clear Casey DeSmith is on the trade block. So there answers your questions. You can get rid of your little debates. We know it's DeSmith going. Okay? It's called a matter of when. Okay? Do we comprehend that? Okay? All right. So Casey DeSmith is your odd man out. And we also got to understand and accept. Guess what? Bottom dollar. We don't know who the starter is. The last it's been ever said, it was Allen. Even though Montembeault picked up his game and played quite well, we have not officially been given word by Marty St. Louis that Sam Montembeault is the starter. So you have to go under the scenario that Allen is still there as your starter. You have to go under that. That's the last time anything has ever been spoken of. I think Sam will take it, but he's got a lot of proven to still do. Okay, he's done wonderful. But anyway, that's your 1-2 punch, and utilize Casey while you got him. But let's get rid of rumorville and nonsense gossip. Okay. All right. Then we get to Jack I was interviewed, and of course the reporters would bring up how tough our division has become, with Toronto getting Ryan Reeves, Domi, and Bartuzzi in there, and they're all tough players. We know they can all do the fist and cup thing, and we know Ryan Reeves is just there's nobody touching his shoelaces as far as fighting. However, he ain't much of a hockey player, so that's the downside of Ryan Reeves. He's totally there for fighting. So let's understand that. That is a big. That's why Jack Guy is so important to us because this kid can play hockey, and Bertuzzi and Domi can play hockey. But however, those two that the Leafs could be in trouble in penalty minutes because those two take a lot of penalties and put their teams in the hole. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works out. I do think it's going to move them into being grittier, but we'll see how it pans out for them. I'm not too concerned. I'm not a Leafs fan. So it's really Ryan Reeves and Lucic coming back to Boston. I'm not really concerned about Lucic with Jack Eye. He's experienced and all that jazz. I'm more concerned about Ryan Reeves, to be quite honest, because he's at a level that's way beyond Lucic and others. He's just at his own grade level. And difference is Lucic in his day could play hockey. Now he didn't do so much in Calgary. He just seems to be a Boston Bruin naturally. I think that's a good move on that organization's part. So maybe he can start playing hockey again too. That would be nice to see because I like Lucic. But however, I don't. I think he is somebody who can play some hockey. I don't think he's the fighter Ryan Reeves is. That's just my opinion. He's not in that category. He's a good fighter for sure, but I think Jack I'd be okay in that. However, I do hope that so Jack Eye's made it very clear he's going to do his job. He knows about all the big tough guys. He's not going to back down. Look at the guy. The guy's 6'4" and 200 some odd pounds. He's a big mother, and he can handle himself. We've seen what he did in the junior leagues, and he just mangled that league. And he got overworked last year. I think that's half the problem. Is Montreal needs more. Um, a lot more toughness added to the lineup. I know Junkie mentioned Nicholas Delorier, and I think that's a superb idea. That's the type of player we need added because you cannot have Arbor Jackeye being wasted. And that's what's going to happen, exactly what happened last year, where he has to defend everybody. He's going to get injuries. And we can't have that. We know Pizzetta will step up to bat, and we know that George LaRock worked with him because last year is the first time we've seen Pizzetta win a couple fights. Totally different fighter because he was a punching bag the year before and didn't know how to protect himself. And I do hope that Arbor also, because that's what I was concerned about with Arbor. Yeah, he can fight, we know that, but he didn't protect himself very well. And he cannot go in to the likes of Lucic and especially Reeves, not protecting himself. He can't go in head first like he did with Casham. It's just a totally different levels of scrappers. So let's hope that Knuckles has worked with Jack Eye. Is my hope. I hope that Knuckles and The Rock may have worked with him. We're going to find out when we see him scrap if there's any change to the style. So that being said, that's Jack Eye. I am not surprised. I love his composure and his calmness when he's interviewed. Wonderful kid. These kids all are showing those signs. Then we have the one topic nobody talked about yesterday. I seen was Carey Price came out and was given question period and had an interview today as well, and was made it very clear, which was no surprise to me. And I'm sure a lot of you it was no surprise about as well. Although there are another portion of you that had some fantasy that he's coming back to play. Carey Price's career is over. He will not lace up. He will not put the pads on. That knee is serious, and he answered you today. His career, as far as playing, is done. Okay, let's get that dream over. So he was very good to come out and answer that question finally, just to shut people up. I think that's what it was about, once again. The false rumors, right? You got to get them shut down. And anyway, he made it very clear that he also got put on. The media likes to put people on the Johnny, and they put him on the Johnny. And they asked him what he thought because Hughes has talked about that if he has the opportunity, he would trade his contract. He's not backing down from that. You got a team like Arizona interested in that dead money, and they're a team that can utilize it between Arizona and I believe who was the other team? I believe it was it. Yeah, but Chicago. So they have space to do that. Don't be surprised if the door opens up for that we end up doing it. But Kerry was right in the way he answered it. If that's what needs to be done to help the organization, then that's what needs to be done. He accepts it and goes along with it fully, and I'm glad to hear that from him. And so that's that being said, that's great. So he's good with it. Like he said, he's always going to be a Montreal Canadian, and he's laced up only for the Habs. So that's a great way to look at it. And he will do whatever it is that he has to do as long as he's with the Habs. So they'll utilize him for the time being while he's being paid. There's no doubt. We'll see what happens. But great to see Kerry. Kerry's such a class act. And amazing what this guy would have done if he had a hockey team in front of him. It's just such a shame that his years we had such pathetic hockey teams in front of him. So anyway, with that being said, that's why I like the Gordon Hughes era finally starting, because I would say since Bob Gainey's being GM, we haven't had competitive teams since then. And even then, there were some moments where questionable things were done, but at least he made Montreal instantly competitive and actually a threat to the cup. With the additions of Kovalev, Gianta, Camilleri, instantly. So that was good moves on his behalf. But we have finally two guys that may even be farther ahead because now Montreal's where the organization is willing to accept its rebuild, which no one else has ever been given this opportunity. So I think we're in the right hands. And then we had Martin St. Louis and Pierre Maguire interviews on that TSN radio. And Martin St. Louis quite positive about the young culture coming up, the young players, and like he said, now it's also a time that they had last year to make their mistakes. Now he's going to start expecting some responsibility from them, which is appropriate. You would totally expect that mindset to change. Systems weren't in place yet; they may come in place. However, the mindset and responsibility does have to kick in at some point. So that's just a growth of a hockey team. And Pierre Maguire had very good things of what he thinks projections of Slavkovsky coming, the effects that Slav will have on the Montreal Canadiens, and they're all positive. And I hope he's right because that's the wild card in a lot of this. Is I think Slav will eventually. I just don't know when, right? But so he seems to think that we could see it immediately after the work that Slav's done. So that's great to hear. We get a lot of positive. Now, my final topic, and it's just because I'm getting tired. Like this has gone on a long time. Everybody talking about the youngsters, and they just want to go on with it. What do you got to put a tape out every second day about the same things? Come on, man. It's if you don't have anything to talk about, just let a day go by, okay? But to continue to go on about this and discredit certain players and pump the wheels on. I mean, I've never seen so much credit being given to Lane Hudson, and I like Lane Hudson, and he's going to be something else. But come on, there's other players in this organization, and you're crediting a lot of them. And I'm sorry, just because Harvey Pinard played on Suzuki's line, don't expect that in the future. Pinard's a third liner. Okay? Little wake up call for you. Yolonin's a third or fourth liner. That's their level. So here's my prediction, and I will go over it. I said this a couple weeks back. In although I didn't add the defenseman in this one because I find it's mostly the comments that are being made by the offense that I wanted to address. Defense, who knows? There's going to be a dogfight there. There's so much depth with the youngsters. But with the offense, I will reiterate a guy who's being disrespected is Emil Heineman, and this guy is going to be. Everybody's forgetting what he did in last year's training camp, and then he had made the team until he got injured. You're forgetting it because he would have been up in Montreal before Pinard and you own him. So wake up. This guy was that much farther ahead, and he is that much farther ahead. And he's abnormally not your typical Swedish hockey player. I mean, this guy's gritty, nasty. He goes into the corners. He'll bounce people around. He'll fight for that puck, and he'll go to the net. He's got a nose for the net, and he's got a cannon of a shot. We don't have enough players that have cannons of a shot. That are always thinking pass first. This has been our problem for about 6 years, or not longer. No one wanting to take the shot. Well, this is the type of guy that's going to take the shot, and he's got a damn good one. I guarantee you, this guy's a second line defense forward, and this is the type of guy that's going to put the heat on Josh Anderson. Because Josh Anderson, we know he's talented, but he doesn't have the work ethic. This guy's got the work ethic, and he's going to put a scare, and I think he's actually going to earn the spot. A lot of people are saying third or fourth liner. I'm saying second or third, and I actually think he'll be a second liner easily. I think he's going to take the second line, and he's going to take that position from guys like Josh Anderson, whoever's up there on that second line. He's going to earn it, and he's going to take it because he's that damn good. Now, with Panarin and Ilonen are my next two that'll make the team, I believe. With the exit of Hoffman and Joanne, thank God. So Panarin, yeah, and these guys will get to rotate up and down from line one because there's a lot of third liners here in Montreal. We know this, but when the dust settles, they're not going to be first liner or second liners. They can take advantage of this while it's here. But Panarin will make the team, I believe, next after Heineman. Probably on the opposite wing. And he's your galley type of player, so I think he'll be there. And I think I'm really fearful for Ilonen. This guy's a great shutdown guy. He showed his defensive skills as a centerman. If we make the mistakes that we don't unload Jake Evans, we're making a huge mistake because we're going to end up losing Ilonen in the waivers if we don't plan this properly. And he's too damn good for that for our time being right now. He's easily, I see him as our future fourth line center, to be quite frank, because there's just, with Owen Beck coming, Nassar coming, there's just too much depth in the center role. So I think he's going to be the fourth line center. And he's a good one, not a bad one to have. But let's not lose him. But with that being said, they'll make the team. And I think Waugh's got a really good crack at it, too. I think this is the other guy with his IQ. If he's got that foot speed up, he could be in the same category as Heineman. These could be the top two out of those four, in my opinion, very easily. And Beck, we know, is that the Habs organization loves him. I love him too. When he was drafted, I fell in love with this kid. Next to Heineman, he is my kid. As far as I'm concerned, I got lots of faith in him. I love his style. He's going to be your shutdown center. There's no doubt in my mind that this guy takes the defensive role once he kicks in. And does he make the team? I don't know. I think his only knock is weight. And if he addresses that he could make it now. So we don't know. I hope for him because I love this kid. But however, I still think, for me, it depends on how he's coming with his foot speed. Heineman's a sure thing. Panarin, Ilonen, probable, most probable. And I think Waugh, if he's correct with the foot speed issue, he's a definite, like Heineman. And Beck, give him another year. Let him play in Laval, is my opinion, and gain that weight. Then bring him up next year, and you can bring him up through the year. So that being said, that's what I wanted to address. I want to thank you for joining me here at Center Ice, Productions. I just wanted to address this golf tournament question and answer period. My version of it, and just responding to some of the nonsense videos that are being created about a bunch of nonsense and discrediting players and pumping tires on only certain individuals. Well, there are other guys that you should be pumping the tires on, and Emil Heineman's one of them. So, anyway, with that being said, thank you for joining me. Where's the Puck Drop First here at Center Heights Productions. Please tell your friends and family, hit the likes and subscribes, and we shall catch you in the next episode. And that, I believe, this weekend rookie camp or training camp begins on Saturday. So we should have something coming out immediately after that. Thank you, and God bless. Have a great day.